What's going on, everybody? Here we are, another episode of Make the Right Play. We are back in studio for a full episode here. As always, we got the coach, Leesan on my left. We got Yabui behind the camera, making everything work for us, making everything sound great for us. As always, shout out Yabui Media for all your media needs in the Pensacola area and the Gulf Coast. And here we are back in studio. We've had a couple of emergency episodes. Crazy things have happened since we met last Wednesday to today. We've been all over the place, but here we are. We're back in studio. We're back on X. Shout out X. We're here. We're back. And Coach, what's going on? We're here in studio. How you feeling? You've been a little nervous. You've been a little on edge about the breaking news we're about to start talking about.
Well, to be honest with you, Carlos, I'm not really in a good mood today. I'm very upset about what is happening. It just broke in the past hour.
Yeah.
And apparently there's something huge going on in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, I know. You were telling me about it. You're getting a little nervous. You told Scott to go buy some extra water.
Well, from what I understand, the Middle East, the embassies are hunkering down and they're evacuating right now. And Iran has gone silent. And some reports on X are saying that they're starting electronic warfare measures.
Yeah, like cyber warfare, trying to mess with other countries' defense systems. Is that what we're talking about here? Little cyber warfare?
To be honest with you, I don't even know what it means. All I know is that non-essential American workers are being pulled out of the Middle East as we speak.
Yep.
The U.S. military has ordered the evacuation of families at Al Dhafra Air Base at the United Emirates.
Yep.
And this just comes hours after evacuations were announced for the U.S. embassies in Iraq, Bahrain, and Kuwait. All right? And the thing is that there are rumors that Israel may strike Iran this weekend.
Yeah.
Some are saying that it might be happening on the 15th. So I have to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous.
What's the 15th, Saturday?
No, I think it's Sunday.
Sunday
Sunday's the 15th. But
okay.
Maybe it's Saturday for us, Sunday for the Middle East. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's true. That may be Sunday in the Middle East. But I mean, so we're talking about a war beginning, all-out war breaking out in the Middle East between, I guess, Israel and Iran would be the two front runners, the two enemies, the Jews versus the Muslims. And I have to say, when you told me about it, I haven't seen anything about it all day. Everything obviously is everybody talking about the riots, which we're going to get to. We'll talk about the riots in a little bit. But that's I was a little shocked, and then I pulled up X and I looked, and the video you see coming from the Ayatollah today. The Ayatollah posted a video, and it's something scary, I have to say.
I think you should play it so people can see it for themselves.
Yeah, now brace yourselves, guys. This is a scary video, so it's pretty intense. So check this out. Here we go, clip 27 here.
Do I need to read subtitles?
If you'd like, yeah.
The things that the U.S. president said in his recent visit to the region are not even worthy of a response. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Khamenei is the leader. Death to those who oppose the rule. Death to America, death to England. Death to the hypocrites and infidels. Death to Israel. And they're doing Nazi salutes, real Nazi salutes.
Yeah,
not fake ones that you blame me on for.
It's a scary situation. The Ayatollah is probably the most scariest person I would say on the planet, at least top 5.
Listen,
I would say.
I'll never forget. I was 5 years old, and my parents always had the evening news on.
Yeah.
So they had the evening news on. I see a picture of the Ayatollah. I stop dead right in my tracks.
Right.
I literally stop. I freeze. And I go, oh my gosh, Mommy, that's the devil.
Yeah.
And my mother goes, no, that's not the devil. That's the Ayatollah from Iran. I said, Mom, that's the devil. And I was terrified. And I was only a little girl, but to this day, I still get scared. It's almost like I always had this instinctual feeling like something bad was going to happen. It was always going to be from Iran. I remember there was a movie when I was young called The Man Who Saw Tomorrow. And at the end of the movie, Iran throws a nuclear bomb on New York City.
Iran, the Iranians.
Yeah, well, a man in a turban.
Yeah.
But they assumed it was Iran. So when they had the movie, it was called The Man Who Saw Tomorrow.
Yep.
And it was assumed that they threw the bomb on New York City, the man with the turban.
Yeah.
So I grew up in New York, so I was terrified seeing this as a child, But right now, from what I understand, Iran is attacking Kuwaiti and Jordanian military servers.
Yeah, no, and that would be the easiest way, because you weaken those countries that surround Israel, then you go take it over.
Multiple intel sources say American assets across the Gulf are being repositioned.
Across the Gulf?
Yes.
The Gulf of America?
Not the Gulf of America.
Well, listen, that's the Gulf.
Isn't there another Gulf over there?
No, I don't think it's. Is there a Gulf over there? There's like the Mediterranean Sea.
Maybe even in
the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf.
Thank you, Yabui.
Thank you,
Yabui.
See, that's why
I knew I wasn't crazy.
We need producer Yabui on the show. That's what we need.
I know. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
God.
Yabui.
Persian Gulf. Okay, so the repositioning around the Persian Gulf. See, when you talk about stuff like that, you gotta,
I should have been more specific.
You gotta be specific because everybody knows the Gulf is the Gulf of America. Come on.
Well, it's just there's a lot of negative energy
like a trigger
going
word
on
in
right
there.
now. So, Al Qaeda is preparing for another attack on our soil.
They are. Big time.
And which is funny because the Iranians are the Shia. Mm-hmm. And then we also have Al Qaeda, who's not too crazy about us either right now.
Yep.
So why don't we play video number 25?
Yeah. Let's show it. This is the latest from the Al Qaeda leader here.
Again.
ندعو ومن الآن كإجراء عملي أولي كل مسلم على أرض أمريكا الكافرة المجرمة المتغطرسة سواء أكان من أصول عربية أم أمريكية أو غيرها المهم أن يكون دينه الإسلام ونبيه محمدا عليه الصلاة والسلام والذين بلغت تعدادهم 4 مليون ونصف المليون مسلما في أمريكا وحدها نقول لهم جميعا الثأر لا تشاوروا أحدا في قتل الأمريكان الكفر ولتكن همتكم كبيرة وقائمة استهدافاتكم مؤثرة فدونكم عتاة في الأرض وأكابر مجرميها فهذا ترامب ونائبه وهذا مستشاره وداعمه ماليا وإداريا وتقنيا إيلون ماسك وهذان وزيرا خارجيته ودفاعه.
That's it. It goes on for like 5 minutes.
And of course, they have little Marco wearing the ashes.
Yeah, wearing the ashes from Ash Wednesday.
So, that means kill all the Catholics. Kill all the Catholics!
Yeah. Well, listen, Coach, kill the infidel. There's no bigger infidel than the Christians. That's why there's hardly any Christians left in the Middle East. They slaughtered them all. That's just truth. That's what happened. They slaughtered a bunch of Christians in the Middle East.
Well, if you check Syria right now, you'd see that they're loving Trump. So I don't understand why the Muslims are so pissed off. I thought that Trump had a really good meeting there. And all of a sudden, it's like all hell is breaking loose. And I'm just sick to my stomach about it. Mm-hmm. Why don't we check out video number 11? Because they're loving Trump in Syria right now. So I can't figure this out.
They're loving Trump, but different type of Arabs, perhaps? I don't know.
That is now the 6th poster billboard that we have seen since arriving here thanking President Trump.
They're thanking him for lifting punishing sanctions and normalizing relations between the U.S. and Syria.
I love you, Trump. I love you, Trump.
In small letters in the right-hand corner, a Syrian-American lobby group, Global Justice, co-founded by Mesa Kabani.
I want to show you this one, which is after the liberation, it was our new slogan, make Syria great again.
When the dictators
make Syria great again. Gotta love that. Gotta love that, Coach. They're copying off President Trump because he's the man.
Listen, Carlos, I'm terrified right now. I can't figure out what's going on.
Coach, you're sitting there in fear right now. You're not even locked in here.
I'm not locked in at all. I have to say, because this is breaking
You're thinking
news.
about buying more water.
I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about crawling into a Cosmopolitan too.
Yeah, we should have had some beverages on this show.
That's literally how I numb the pain. I'm like, I need to go get a Cosmopolitan. I'm a nervous wreck right now.
Yes, with Tito's vodka. We should have had some beverages on the show. We've been, moving here a little bit. Coach, I mean, listen, Trump always talks about we have the 2 beautiful oceans on either side of the United States protecting us. It's going to be pretty hard for the Iranians to get a giant nuclear bomb over here. So I'm not too worried about
Carlos,
the Iranians right now. They can kick rocks.
In Ukraine, which has no nukes, or where you have one side with nukes, which is Russia, right?
Yep.
There's a very dangerous mix in the Middle East.
Yeah, there is.
All right?
Of all Muslims.
Israel has nukes. Iran might have nukes.
They don't have nukes.
You think for sure they don't have nukes?
Yeah, not yet. They don't have it. They don't have, unless the Russians give it to them.
So you don't think they maybe bought one illegal off the market or anything like that? You think
Putin sold them one?
I don't know.
I think that would be the only person that would sell them one is Putin. But Putin doesn't like the Muslims. Like, he's not a big fan.
But he is an ally with Iran.
Yeah, but still, he's not like the same. They don't have that same type of relationship that they did with the Soviet Union. It's different now. I mean, Putin's not a big fan of that shit.
And I wonder how Turkey would react to all of this. Mm-hmm. And we know China and Russia have the nukes, and the U.S. has the nukes.
Yep.
So the potential for nuclear war right now, I think, is high in Europe because of Russia and Ukraine. And now we might have a potential for nuclear war in the Middle East. Starting this weekend. And that's kind of like
starting this
weekend.
Out. I don't know. I think that the threat for nuclear war has been a massive talking point since 1980. I mean, even before that. And I think that there's always been that fear.
But don't you think that people are more demonic now? Don't you feel like the devil has a greater grip on people?
You have to believe
where they don't honor life. Like, look at the way that at the DNC they were like abortion.
Right, but you have to remember. The DNC isn't in power though.
But what I'm saying is that we have a problem on this planet where people don't respect life.
Well, Trump respects life.
Look at Canada, where they'll kill you if you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Like right now, the prime minister would come and say, listen, Leesan, you might need assisted suicide. You're a little nervous. Seriously. Like we have a culture of death going on this planet where the respect for life isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned right now. I'm not kidding you.
I don't know. I have to disagree with you. I think with Trump being in leadership right now, and I think that...
With Trump being in leadership. Are you kidding me? The globalists are all working together to be against him.
And how's that worked out?
Listen, you had... that horrible man, the senator, Lindsey Graham. You had that other horrible man, the senator from Connecticut, Chris Murphy.
Not Chris Murphy, Dick Blumenthal, Iron Dick.
Dick Blumenthal, sorry. Chris Murphy's the one calling for civil war. It's Dick Blumenthal who's calling for World War III.
Yes.
So it's just so frustrating how you have a lot of people who I think would rather blow up the planet than give up power. I really feel that way. I think the globalists would rather see the whole planet burn down before they gave up their power.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of Muslims, I feel, would be like willing to all die in order to make sure that they kill the Jews in the process.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. The Muslims, they're savages. They'll kill. They'll go down to the last guy. I mean, the same way the Japanese was. Remember the Japanese? The whole point we had to drop that bomb was because they'll fight to the last body on that island.
Yeah.
They wouldn't surrender. They would sacrifice all those people.
I mean, they even had the grandmother's training.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are people that are like that, and there are enemies that America will face that are like that. But you have to hope that other than the Muslims that you won't. I don't think that the leaders of the countries are ready to sacrifice all their people just yet.
Well, I see the way the Ukrainians had no problem sacrificing everybody fighting Russia. So I can't really agree with that. I think that World War III is extremely high risk right now. I'm sorry. I really hope that...
Yeah, but I think World War III will be fought with men. They won't be fought with nukes.
Oh, please. They're going to be fought with drones. And what's going to happen is whoever has the better drones and the better technology is going to win, and somebody might get desperate and use a nuclear weapon.
We'll see. I don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll be dead. We won't be seeing anything, okay? We will not be seeing anything. We're going to be dead if that happens. And I was really hoping that the election of Donald Trump was going to stop all this because blessed are the peacemakers and he really wants peace. And it didn't happen. It just hasn't happened. And it's upsetting me. I feel like the globalists and the evil people that are on this planet right now are just working so hard to stop peace. They're doing everything they can. You know? And look at this. Look at Al-Qaeda's calling for having 4.5 million Muslims here in the United States to start killing the infidels, right? Kill the infidels, kill the infidels. And then we have like some of our population being like, don't go after the illegals. Why are you going after the illegals? Like, we're living in crazy times.
Got some bad hombres here.
I mean, come on, Carlos. There are protests going on all over the country. It's not just LA.
They're all over.
It's spreading.
They're all over the country.
Like a virus.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what, your boy? Let's do video number 13 to show what I'm talking about.
So this is a riot in Chicago going on where actually in this video they're getting the bomb squad out because they felt that they were putting something underneath the ground. They were crawling into manholes, some of the rioters here in Chicago.
That's terrifying.
Fellas, for people who are watching on TikTok, be sure to tune in to our show. We're live right now on YouTube, on X, and on Rumble.
Where is this now? Is this like Atlanta?
This is in Atlanta, yes.
Great.
So this is in Atlanta. Scott Villa's going to Atlanta this weekend.
It's a perfect organized tactic here. You gotta be careful because of all the smoke grenades.
Yeah, they're starting to throw.
But they're putting cones. The protesters are putting cones on the smoke grenades. This is what they've been taught to do by well-paid organizers like George Soros and now his son Alex Soros.
You know, that's my biggest question. And there was an article in the New York Post that came out, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, that came out, and it was the protesters in Los Angeles, where the biggest protests are going on right now, were getting handed out tactical gear, handed out gas masks, handed out bulletproof vests, handed out things to help them riot. Who is paying for that? Where's the money coming to pay for those things? Who is supplying all of the rioters and all of the protesters with all of these supplies? What is going on? Who's supplying that?
They said there's like about 100 NGOs that are uniting together, and they're all working in a coordinated effort. Like, they can't just be one organization, so they have to have a bunch of tiny organizations all over the country. And really, they're all a bunch of communists.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're a bunch of communists. They're trying to ruin the country. But you go, imagine a gas mask, tactical gear, food. I think that I saw a job listing that it ranged from $3,500 a week to $12,500 a week was the salary.
$12,500 a week to go riot?
So you know what I thought? I said, why would they pay? I said, Pride Presley Villa. If my son Presley, who's like 6'7", 300 pounds, goes, guess what? He's going to get $12,000 because it's going to be harder for the cops to push him around.
Right.
My daughter Olivia, who's like 110 pounds.
Right, pretty easy to push around.
$3,000 a week. She doesn't get $12,000.
Pretty easy to push around. But I mean, they listen, in some of these cities, especially like inner cities, and you could probably get some big fellas in there.
Well, you know,
Probably
I'm really concerned because my husband and daughter are going to Atlanta this weekend.
Yeah, and June 14th, they're supposed to have a big anti-Trump riot. Scott Villa said in the chat.
Yes, they are. It's like King's Day. But what I'm concerned about is that these protesters love stopping traffic. So I don't need my husband on his way home with my daughter, and all of a sudden he has a bunch of protesters in front of the car. Let's see video one.
All right, yeah, let's show it. Well, video one is how you handle these protesters.
Well, let's see. Oh. So what are you supposed to do? Like, what would you do? Let's say you're driving in a car and a bunch of crazy protesters come running on the highway and start banging on your windows. What do you do?
Right, smashing rocks on the windshield. Like, they're attacking that vehicle and trying to destroy it. So what do you do? That is a great question. What do you do? If you're in the South and you are a gun owner and you have a gun, what do? Do you like? Are you going to then go to jail and start and be you killed a bunch of people because they were busting up your property, or do you run them over with the car? What do you do? That's a great question. I think that guy. I mean, it's not like he plowed through him, but he was slowly moving forward,
and they didn't want to move out of the way,
so he ran him over. And honestly, what was that's something that I guess you have to do because they were destroying his truck.
Carlos, these people are so irrational. Why do they think standing in front of an innocent person's car? The guy had a trailer. He was probably on vacation. He probably worked his ass off all week. I mean, all year to go on vacation. He's so excited, hauling his trailer. Right. I mean, so you know he's not a rich man. If you're going on vacation, hitching a trailer, you're not rich,
He's not the richest guy.
Yeah, exactly. So he's hitching his trailer. He's probably so excited to go on vacation.
Right.
And then these crazy protesters go in front of his truck.
Yeah.
Why? Because they think this is going to stop ICE? It doesn't even make sense.
It does
so
not
let's
make
go
sense.
to video 2.
All right, let's show, because this isn't slowing ICE down. The immigration is still, the immigration policies are still going to power through. Let's show it.
Oh! I wasn't expecting that.
This is in Nebraska, at a Home Depot in Nebraska here. ICE rounding up illegal immigrants in Nebraska. Red state.
You know what I find so annoying when people say they shouldn't be going after the people who work in Home Depot? Really? So Americans can't have those jobs?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry, Home Depot, I'm sure the owner has millions and millions of dollars, probably $1 billion. He should be able to afford to hire American workers.
Right.
Okay? I'm sorry. We shouldn't be having a bunch of illegals working in Home Depot. I know that they're probably Americans who are looking for a job right now.
Right.
So what's going on in this video now?
So this is at the Home Depot. This is them.
Oh, this is still at the Home Depot?
Yeah, this is what was going on at the Home Depot on I think that was Tuesday morning.
Listen, Carlos, the party's over. Trump isn't playing this
exactly.
time. He is not playing. Let's go to video 7. He'll say it in his own words.
Wait, video 7? He says it in his own words. That's
right?
Not what he says.
Isn't that Trump isn't playing?
No, that's National Guard mobilizing in
Whoa!
LA.
All right, not in his own words. Let's show what he's doing.
Let's show what's going on in Los Angeles in his own words. What are you talking about?
Well, why don't we play the video, then you can judge me. Yes, video 7, please. All right, I thought it was a video with Trump speaking, but this is a video of the National Guard being mobilized.
Yes.
And then everybody's bad-mouthing Trump for doing that. Everybody's like, how could he be getting the National Guard to help? When the police, what was it, like the head of the police chief was saying he was overwhelmed.
Yeah, the police chief in Los Angeles said that he was overwhelmed. He needed more help. But this is what they wanted. This is the result of the defund the police movement. This is what they wanted. They wanted the police to not be able to have the equipment, the supplies, the manpower to handle things like this. And they got it. And now Trump is like, all right, I have to handle it myself because God knows Gavin Newsom isn't going to handle it.
And what everybody has to
Mayor Karen
understand
Bass
is that this isn't just about the people working at Home Depot. We had a person release a video from Al-Qaeda. We have people who are in this country who do not belong here. So don't you want the National Guard to be able to take them out if all of a sudden Al-Qaeda goes and tries to do some kind of attack on the citizens of this country?
Yeah.
Don't you want somebody who's ready to fight them?
But I got to admit, Coach, I personally feel that it has just as much to do with the people working at Home Depot because enough is enough. We have to get Americans back to work. We have too many Americans who are not doing anything, who are still sitting at home, not getting off their ass, can't find a job, who are looking for jobs that they can't get. This has to stop. This has to stop. This can't be we take care of everybody else but not take care of our own people anymore. Enough is enough. It's time for Americans to get off the couch and start working again. I mean, for Christ's sake, I know so many people who are doing nothing. And are suffering, want to move up and get better jobs or at least go get a job, and they can't because there's no jobs available because the odds are you have a bunch of illegals working in jobs that you could go and pick up hours at. Yeah. And that's the truth. I mean, tons of construction jobs are taken up by illegal immigrants now.
And those used to be good paying jobs.
They still are. They still are good paying jobs, but they're not going to Americans. They're going to the illegals.
Because they pay them less.
Right. Well,
they pay them less.
I don't know how much less they get paid.
I'm
Some
sure
of them
they get
are
paid
getting
less
paid
than
pretty well off.
When you have an American, you have to pay a lot of. You have to have workman's comp. You have to have medical benefits. I'm sure when you add up everything that you need for that American worker, it's going to be more money than it is when you hire an illegal.
Yes, no, it is more money. I'm not saying I don't think the workers are getting paid less, but I think that it is more money for the company to hire Americans.
So it's cheaper to hire foreigners. But the problem is that it's not just about that. It's also we have people in this country who we do not know who they are. And they're dangerous. And I mean, they're here and they're waving foreign flags. Yeah. Show the video number 3, you buoy, please. And you see all the people waving foreign flags.
Yeah,
they're not waving American flags.
Let's show it.
In front of ICE office in Los Angeles. I just want you guys to do me a favor. Look at this video of the protesters out here. Look at all the foreign flags. I got a question for you. If you love that country so much, why are you in America, protesting America, flying your foreign flag? If you love that country so much, get the hell out of ours.
Right.
Well, listen.
Get out of here.
Back in the 1950s, there was a huge population of Puerto Ricans moving to the United States after World War II. Guess what the song was? I want to live in America, right? It wasn't we hate the USA and bashing the United States. No, the song was, I want to live in America. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. And I think if they were waving the US flag and really cared about this country, they would care about our laws too. And they would make an effort to follow the rules and come over legally.
Well, and I love the argument of oh, well, you're ripping people's families, you know, you're taking parents, you're doing this, you're doing that. And it's like, well, nobody's getting up and rioting, you know, when a white person, Americans' parents are getting ripped away from their kids for doing illegal activity. There's never, it happens every day, once a day.
To Americans all over the country, there are people who are getting arrested who have children.
All over the place.
Right?
All over the place.
So every day, families and parents are being separated by their children for breaking the law.
Yeah, and there's no big riots about it. There's no destruction about it. No looting Apple stores.
But Carlos, these people want to stay in the USA, but look at how they treat our flag. Let's show video 17, you buoy.
Yeah, this video gets me fired up here.
He spit on our flag.
This is not just a good gesture. This is something we need to make real. We need to bring down this empire once and for all. All right.
That looks like a Nazi salute. Look at the way that lady put it. Look, another Nazi salute.
Make it great like 92! Patreon afraid of you! Patreon afraid of you! Make it great like 92! Make it great like 92! Patreon afraid of you! Patreon afraid of you!
Disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
It really makes me angry.
It gets me so pissed.
It makes me so angry because they didn't do the work to build this country. They came here to destroy the country, not build it and do the work.
And that's who the liberal and the Democrat is fighting for?
Yeah.
Is fighting for that person who just lit the flag on fire and spit on it and stomped on it? That's who you're going to go and bat for? You liberal prick? That's who you're going to do it? You kidding me?
Because
like it's so disgusting. It drives me nuts. And then I love the liberal. Well, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You're the idiot. You're the idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. If you're here and you're not legal, you don't get the same rights that American citizens do. You don't, because you're not a citizen.
Exactly.
You're not a citizen. If you are blessed to be born in this country, and you're blessed, you're American, then you get the rights that come with being an American. Mm-hmm. But enough is enough. We cannot allow every person to walk across the border, open borders, and think, oh, now I'm an American because I'm on American soil, all full rights, all this shit. BS. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And enough is enough. All you liberals thinking that that's how it works. We're going to burn down cities and loot stores. And that's going to be the change? Ridiculous.
Well, why do illegals get to live by different rules?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, Bowie, let's show video 12.
There's news in America every single day. There are children that cry when their mom or dad, who's an American citizen that breaks the law, gets arrested and goes to jail. I have watched it, and there's no rioting and looting over that because we understand that we're either a country of laws or we are not a country of laws. Every day we send moms and dads who are American citizens to prison, and we separate them from their families. And you know why we don't feel sorry for them? Because we judge them on the law, and we say if you break the law in America, we put you in jail. So why is it different for illegal immigrants?
Yeah, why is it different for them? Why can they do whatever they want and feel that they're not going to have any repercussions for it?
Because LA has a huge illegal population.
Yeah, a massive one.
A huge illegal population, and they know that they'll lose congressional seats and they'll lose money, and that's why they're organizing this.
Well, that's what it's all about, Coach. That's what it's all about. Today, 148 Democrats voted to allow non-citizens, non-U.S. citizens, illegal immigrants, non-U.S. citizens to vote in presidential and D.C. elections. That's the goal, fellas. It's not so much open borders. It's how many people can we stuff into a community to stuff the ballot box.
It's about the enemy within.
That's what it's about.
We have an enemy within who don't love this country. I'm convinced of it. Mm-hmm. They do not love this country. Yep. And you know who I think is one example of that? The mayor of LA, right? The city was just on fire a few months ago, and now she's trying to blame Trump for the mayhem going on right now.
Of course. Well, it's like you said in the other day's emergency show. The liberal will always blame Trump for everything, right? So like you said, if we have a war, and there's a bunch of cells inside of the country, then it becomes Trump's fault because he had too many illegals getting into the country. Why aren't we vetting all these people coming into the country? Why isn't the border more secure? Why is this? Why is that? But then now it's like, why is the border so secure? Why is it not open and anybody can come and go as they please? No borders, no borders, no flags. But then the minute somebody gets blown up or two towers fall from the sky, it's, why is the country not more secure? Where's the security? Trump, fuck Trump, fuck Trump, fuck Trump.
No
that
F
is
word.
The liberal mentality. They are so hypocritical pieces of shit. That's just who they are. They can't help themselves.
I know, but we're not going to use any foul language, remember?
We're going to use foul language.
No, we're
going to use foul language on this show, and we're going to set the tone here.
No, we're not.
Enough is enough.
Yes, please.
But the real solution of all of this is for the administration to stop the raids. We have heard that these raids might take place for the next 30 days. We don't know how many are going to take place in a given day. And you just think about the disruption to families and the disruption to our local economy.
So ICE can't do their job. So it's like, if you don't want no riots, that means you can't deport illegals. Yeah. It's a threat. It's like, listen, if you're going to start following the law and deporting illegals, we're going to have riots. So ICE needs to stop doing their job, and then the riots will go away.
Well, let's see what Trump thinks about that. Let's show clip 20.
California officials could face federal charges if they stand in the way of the deportation, something that Poland may have suggested.
If officials stand in the way of law and order, they will face charges.
If they stand in the way of law and order, yes, they will face charges. And it's coming. Karen Bass and Mr. Newsom keep saying, arrest me, arrest me. It's coming, bro. It's coming, Gavin. Here it comes. It's coming. Because you're getting in the way. It's coming.
I mean, honestly, I think it would be great, but I think it would also cause a lot of problems in the country. I think they would try to use it to their own advantage.
Yeah.
Look at this dictator. Look at how he arrested
they would totally
a governor.
use it to their advantage. They totally would. But listen, enough is enough. At some point, you have to realize that federal law has to be upheld. And it's become a federal law that we have to remove these illegal immigrants from our country. We have to have security. Like you said, we have to have security, and we have to get Americans back to work. And what are we going to do? How are we going to do that? By getting the non-Americans out who are taking the American jobs away. By getting the non-Americans out so we can secure who's in our country and know who the threats are. That's what we have to do.
Plus, Carlos, we're broke. We need to take care of a lot of Americans in this country first. I'm sorry, we don't have the money that we used to have. Thank you, Joe Biden. We're broke. So until we can take care of every veteran, and there's not one veteran homeless on the street, we cannot start affording to take care of a bunch of illegals.
Yes.
And people just have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But one thing that I thought was funny was Maxine Waters saying how the protests were peaceful.
Yeah.
Let's play video number 5.
It's another lie again.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. And so when martial law is called, what are you going to say? I missed the point. Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. And I went from downtown detention back out into the community, talking to people what happened in Paramount, what happened in Compton, what happened in Inglewood. So, first of all, get it straight. And don't just rely on what you're being told or the few incidents that you saw.
The few incidents. I love that. The few incidents that you saw. Listen, Maxine. Maxine. First off, how could you say that a day after you got the door slammed in your face?
Mm-hmm.
You tried to get into the ICE agency building and they shut the door on you. And then you go and you have rocks being thrown off the top of the bridge. I mean, we got to show some of these videos.
Yes.
That they're. I mean, how could you possibly say that these are peaceful protests? Let's show clip 6 here. This is a string of police cars being vandalized, destroyed completely. Mm-hmm. Like, this is unbelievable.
There's still a heavy police presence out there. They're getting to their cars. All their tires are slashed.
Those who are watching on TikTok, make sure you tune in. YouTube, X, and Rumble. We're live right now. YouTube, X, and Rumble.
Damn.
Took out the glass of a bunch of cop cars while they were over there.
Lit on fire.
They came back. They had got
Not my city.
They left the cars.
Not my police.
They broke out the glass on this one, so the LAPD is breaking it out so they can drive away, I guess.
Yeah.
And they also said they slashed some of the tires of the other cars back here.
I mean, look at that. Let's show 19 here too, real quick. Let's show 19. This is on the day that she's saying, "Oh, the protests are peaceful right now. They're peaceful right now." Let's see what they were doing. The clip 19.
Breaking up the concrete to throw at the police.
Look at that.
And then they're mad that Trump sent in the National Guard. I mean, isn't it obvious why Trump had to send in the National Guard?
Right. Like, are we living in a different world here? Are we living in a different world? Are you guys not seeing what's going on in front of your eyes?
You know what the problem is? Is that they have been able to get away with lying for years, the mainstream media. They lied during COVID. They're the ones who spread misinformation, to be honest with you, as the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's independent media that spreads the truth.
Yep. Well, I mean, and that's why they're getting attacked. You had an independent media, a kid in the protest trying to interview protesters, trying to see what's going on.
The story.
Get in the behind the lines and see what's really going on, and they attacked him for it. Let's show that clip 23. Let's take a look at that. Doesn't seem very peaceful in this.
Hey, I have a right to be here just like you.
Yeah, so do we, motherfucker.
Okay, I'm not.
Why the cops here? You're a fucking cop. That's what you
I'm not a cop.
Yeah, you are. You fucking
How am I a cop?
You want to steal that
That
shit?
look like a cop?
Get out of here, bro.
Kid looks like 5.
I'm fucking cornered, you little bitch. Are you scared?
I'm not scared.
Faggot.
What'd I do?
You're a little fucking bitch. I fucking see you on fucking line. Always
Okay.
fucking antagonizing right-wing fucking ideology, motherfucker. This is our fucking land, you fucking bitch. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Dude, I have a right to be here.
I don't give a fuck. Not today. I'm the fucking police. I'm telling you not to be here, motherfucker.
Not today.
Well, I want to be here.
Well, I'm fucking telling you not to be here. Get the fuck
Get
out
out of my
You
way.
walking towards the cops, you fucking little faggot.
Get out of here.
Little fucking asshole. I know you are, you fucking right-wing motherfucker. You're a little fucking bitch.
I have a right to be here just like you.
Well, I'm gonna be right next to you the whole fucking time.
Okay.
Fucking high as hell, you little faggot.
He can't try to get. He's trying to
Okay.
get away from him so fast.
Yeah.
Talk about that guy is completely intimidating him with a mask on. He won't even show his face.
Right.
You know, and that's what they do.
Right.
And that's why Trump is like, anybody who's wearing a mask should be arrested.
Yep.
Because they don't even show their faces as they're doing this, as they're intimidating. And let me tell you, let these Mexicans keep saying that they're in their land. To me, that sounds like war.
Right.
That sounds like you're trying to take over our country.
Yep.
That doesn't sound like you want to come live here and be a part of our country.
Right.
That sounds like you're trying to take over our country.
Yeah.
So is this an act of war?
Right.
Have we gone from the point from you don't want to be deported to you want to go to war with us and try to get your land back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Because that's what that sounded like to me.
Yep.
But the media's not going to show that.
Nope,
they just
they're
make
not.
it like they had a movie script, a literal movie script of a girl crying. And they were like, listen to the sounds of a child crying because their parent was taken by ICE. And it was from a movie script.
Yeah.
It was a scene from a movie. It wasn't even real.
Right.
These people lie all the time. These Mexicans want to take our country.
Yeah.
They want to ruin our country. They want to turn
Not just
California
Mexicans.
into a freaking dump.
Yeah.
They want to turn it into a dump like Mexico.
And
That's what they want to do.
And it's not just Mexicans. It's we saw so many different
But
flags.
Carlos, they
so
say,
many.
this is our land. This is our land. You're in our land. This is our land. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So this isn't just about being deported. They literally, legitimately feel like they
Entitled.
have a right here.
Yeah, entitled to it.
I'm sorry, this isn't your land. This is USA. This is the United States of America. That is called Los Angeles. That's the state of California.
Well, you
all
know
right?
what's so funny is that the same people that would say, "Oh, well, that's their land, right? This is stolen land, blah blah blah." Well, then shouldn't the Russians feel entitled to Ukraine? Because that was Russian land, was it not?
Yeah, you're right about that, right?
That was Russia's land. All those countries were Russia's land. So if Russia decides I want to go take that land and I'm going to take it back because that was mine, is Russia in the wrong?
Well, maybe.
Are they wrong?
I mean,
Liberals, I'm asking, are they wrong?
Are the Mayans going to come back? Are
Right.
they going to conjure back up? All of a sudden, it will be the end of days. The Mayans are back, and then they take Mexico.
Yeah.
And they say, we were here first. Like, it's ridiculous. It's over.
Yep.
It's over. they do not want to follow our laws. They don't want to respect our culture. They don't want to respect our nation.
Yep.
And it's independent media that's showing the truth.
Yep.
And it's the mainstream media that's trying to cover up, and they're liars. And it's like, it has to stop.
It has to stop. But this is what they do. They just spread lies, and lies, and then the liberal just eats it up.
What about Gavin Newsom? When Gavin Newsom, he's giving an interview and he goes, Donald Trump didn't even call me, not even a voicemail.
Well, that was a tweet.
Oh.
That was a tweet. So they asked Trump in the Oval Office. Mm-hmm. They said, well, what did you say to Newsom when you called him? So Trump says, I told him he's got to get this under control, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So then Gavin Newsom then quote tweets the interview that Fox News posted and said, I never got a call. Me and the president haven't spoken.
Gosh.
We haven't talked. So what does Trump do? On Air Force One, on the way to give a talk at Fort Bragg, this is what he does. Let's show that clip.
Video 9.
Video 9. Let's show it.
Going on between Gavin Newsom and President Trump. Gavin Newsom, after President Trump said in the noon hour,
he looks
in the
like
Oval
a demon,
Office that
Gavin
he called
Newsom.
him yesterday or the other day, Gavin Newsom tweeted the following. He said, quote, there was no call, not even a voicemail. Americans should be alarmed that a president deploying Marines on our streets doesn't even know who he's talking to. Well, President Trump contacted me from Air Force One on his way to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he'll be in just a little while. He said the first call to Gavin Newsom was not picked up. The second call Gavin picked up. We spoke for 16 minutes. I told him to essentially, quote, and this is quoting the president, get his ass in gear and stop the riots, which were out of control more than anything else. This shows what a liar he is. Said I never called. So here is the evidence. And here is the call log that the president sent me from his phone.
That's right. Talk about having receipts. That's the call log. I called you. It's right there in your face. I called you.
These people lie all the time. And years ago, they would have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
They would have gotten away with it, and they can't get away with it anymore.
But you're right. It's the independent media. It's X. I mean, they had a poll come out that X is the #1 news source in the United States of America. It's the #1 out of all of it. New York Times, Washington Post, all the liberal media, CNN. We just got a live restricted on TikTok. They kicked us off for spreading misinformation.
We're spreading the truth.
So they kicked us off. Shout out TikTok. The CCP kicked us off on our first ever TikTok live. But yeah, so the X what came out, #1 news source. But it's funny in the chat. I see Matt Judd saying the 40-point swing.
Absolutely, Matt.
It's huge. It's huge. And even CNN had to talk about it because they said this is unbelievable that they had such a massive swing. I think we have that video actually. Let's see here.
I didn't see it on the list.
No,
but it was a 40-point swing because it used to be a -29 years ago. And then this year, it went to where he's in the plus category. We don't have it on there. All right.
No. Yes, we do. Clip 10. We do have 10? It on there. Yep. Let's show clip 10.
People are agreeing with CNN. That's what
people
it's called.
People are agreeing with Trump, CNN bit.
Here. This is Trump's net approval rating on immigration. It's gone up like a rocket. Compare now versus 8 years ago during Trump's first term. Look at this. In his first term, Trump was way, way, way underwater at -21 points. But look at this. He's up over 20 points. Now, in the aggregate, he is in positive territory at +1 point on his net approval rating. Some other polls even have it a little bit higher than that. There is no issue on which Trump is doing so much better than he was in his first term, more than the issue of immigration. No wonder the Times has written it up the way that he is. Trump is begging for a fight on this because he knows what he's doing so far is working with the American electorate.
That's right. It is working with the Americans because that's what we voted for. Mm-hmm. We voted for that. That was one of the things. He said it. It's not like he didn't say that he was going to do this. He came out and said it. Yeah, we're going to deport people. We're going to bring American jobs back to American citizens, and we're going to put Americans first. He said it, and that's what we voted for. And here it is. He's doing it.
Well, plus people saw what happened in cities like New York. People are seeing what's happening in cities like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So people are seeing with their own eyes. How about in Georgia?
Yeah.
With that girl being raped and murdered.
Right.
So people are seeing what the results are from having dangerous people in our country, and they're tired of it, and they want law and order. They want to be able to drive to work and not have a protester stand in front of their car.
Yeah.
Okay? They want to be able to jog and not worry about some illegal alien raping and murdering sponsoring them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. That's what's been going on.
So, I mean, listen, the National Guard is there where they sent the Marines to protect the federal buildings, and things are going to get ugly because clearly the Democrats are going to continue to entice this. And honestly, listen, let things get ugly. I think nobody's safe. I mean, look at that New York Post reporter. Got shot right in the head. We got to show that. This was unbelievable.
This was really with
Clip
the rubber
4.
bullet.
Yeah, rubber bullet right to the face, right to the dome. 4. Sorry. Watch the slow-mo here. You can see it coming at him.
Oh!
Look at that. Look at that. New York Post.
That was not a good day.
No. Talk about not having a bad day. That was a tough look for my friend there.
I mean,
Tough
who knows?
look.
Maybe he was wearing a mask. Who knows why he got shot in the head?
Maybe he was. Maybe he was maxed up.
To be honest with you, I've seen quite a few videos of reporters. I think your father sent me one where a reporter got shot in the leg.
Yeah, the Australian lady. Yeah, got shot right in the leg. The reporters are taking a beating out there. The CNN guy got arrested because he wouldn't move. Kind of deserved it. I mean, they were telling him, you got to move. You got to move out of the zone.
Out the area.
And he was like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. So cuffed. Law and order. Law and order, coach. That's what you need. That's what we need in this town.
Now, I wanted to ask you about this. What's video number 20 about?
Video
it says
number
Trump
20.
and Rubio will face charges for helping ICE.
Oh, that's
that?
We showed that. That was when they were saying,
okay.
people are gonna go to jail for supporting these people.
Okay.
Yeah, we showed that.
I wasn't sure what that one was about.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday is Flag Day.
Saturday's Flag Day.
Saturday's Flag Day. And do you know that these protesters have turned it into No King's Day?
I haven't heard much about this, so you got to break this down for me here. There's no kings.
Well, it's an organized effort throughout the whole country where they're all going to be protesting all over the country.
Right.
And this is the same weekend. This is Flag Day, right?
Yeah.
It's also Trump's birthday. And in D.C., he's doing a huge military parade to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. It's like the U.S. Army's birthday.
Right.
So the No Kings is a new front group that's funded by what? Hundreds of NGOs.
Oh, the NGOs. All right. Here we go.
And hundreds of millions of dollars are being spent right now to pay people to protest, flying key agitators across the country, pay for supplies for food, gear, lodging.
Oh, great. So we're gonna pay for their hotels that are there?
Yes. And depending on the severity of how unruly it gets, and if the governors don't protect their citizens, the Insurrection Act is always on the table.
Yeah.
So, we really might be coming to a civil war type situation this weekend. Tensions are going to be high. Well, from what Trump said, he's like, you try it and your butt's going to go to jail.
Right.
And it looks like, from what I've seen online, they decided to avoid Washington, D.C. and to avoid the parade. And they encouraged all the D.C. residents to join the Philadelphia protests. Or the riots, that could be another name.
Take a little Amtrak up there?
Yes.
Quick little Amtrak ride?
Yes. So they think that they should join them up in Philadelphia and not riot in Washington, D.C. because I think they know that.
That'd be a bad spot. I mean, there's going to be a lot of military guys there.
A ton of military guys.
It'd be a pretty bad
It's
spot
not,
to run out in front.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to kick your ass.
It's definitely not going to end well for them.
It's probably going to be a smart choice to pick. But, I mean, yeah, that's interesting. So all the major cities across the U.S. are hoping to get massive unrest. Is that the goal, I assume?
Yes. No King's Day is to have riots all over the country. That's why I'm concerned about my daughter and my husband being in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta could be a hot spot. That could be definitely interesting. And then New York City. New York City could be, they could try to burn it down. Let's see how Eric Adams handles that.
Oh, Eric Adams did a great job this week when they tried to.
Right,
they tried
bust
to
up
take
Trump
over
Tower.
an ICE center and it didn't work out too well for them.
Yeah, Eric Adams doesn't play. He's ready. He's a cop.
I mean, there's just so much negative energy right now.
Tons of negative energy between the stress in the Middle East and the riots in LA. The civil unrest is so big. But I have to say, I personally feel that the Democrats and the mainstream media are just lying to the American people and enticing more and more of this violence. And these people posting these horseshit posts on their social media, like it's just, I could feel like the energy, like they're really trying to just entice this civil war.
That's because the globalists are probably behind it. A lot of the globalists and the CCP. I wouldn't be surprised if China's
CCP
helping
reference
too.
here.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if China's, funding some of these NGOs that are going to try to cause civil unrest here in the United States. We do it.
Yeah.
USAID did it. Like, why do you think
We
only
cut
the United
USAID.
States?
We cut that shit.
But what I'm saying is that we did it for years, going into other countries and starting protests, starting riots, starting problems.
Mm-hmm.
So if we gave the lessons on how to disrupt and overtake governments, why wouldn't our same playbook be used against us?
I don't know about the CCP starting all these riots. I think that this is a result of enforcing immigration. And
You
this
don't
is
know
the
who's
Democrats.
behind these NGOs.
But now, do you think the CCP was behind the George Floyd Black Lives Matter riots?
I don't know.
Because I think that the same people that were behind the Black Lives Matter riots are behind this.
Well, I think there are
I think it's the
hundreds
same
of different
group.
organizations. I don't think it's just one group.
Well,
Like,
I think
there
it's
are a lot
all.
of demonic people who really want to see this country go into the gutter.
I think it's the deep state. I think it's Democrats who are funding this monstrosity.
Carlos,
I really do. I think it is. I think it's
Democrats
Democrats.
are such a small, they're like a cog in the wheel of the globalists. They're a cog in the wheel.
They're the leaders of the globalists.
The Democrat Party.
Yes, they're the leaders. Obama, you think Obama's a small corg?
Listen,
Barack Obama's a small
I
corg.
do.
Hillary Clinton's a small
I
corg?
do, yes.
That's bullshit. Who
you
do you
know
think's
who's-
running the big globalists?
How many times have we done it? The WFO. How many times have we talked
The
about
WHO? You think the WHO is running it? The World Health Organization?
the World Financial Organization?
The World Financial Organization.
Yes.
WFO?
The Schwab guy. The
Charles Schwab?
Klaus.
Klaus Schwab?
Not Charles Schwab.
Klaus Schwab?
Klaus, right? The one who just stepped down. That organization, they're a bunch of Nazis, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I have no proof, but I'm telling you, they're evil globalists that are in this world and they're trying to destroy the globe. They're in Ukraine. They say it's a bunch of Nazis that are in Ukraine. They're all over Europe. Yes, they're all over the world and they're evil people. It's not the Democrats alone. They're a cog in a wheel. The globalists, look, they say George Soros does everything, right? They say he funds so many things.
A known piece of trash.
Right. So, I mean, that's not Obama. He paid for Obama.
He did. He did
hired
bankroll Obama, yeah.
These people are so nefarious, you don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue who they are. And they're destroying the world because they want to rule the world. And they don't care if they kill all of us and it's just them. They don't. Why do you think they have all their shelters? Why do you think people like the guy who owns Facebook has that bomb shelter in Hawaii that I think he spent $100 million making so that if we have a nuclear war, he would be fine?
Zuckerberg has a bomb shelter in Hawaii?
In Hawaii.
Wow.
These people are
impressed.
set.
Yeah.
These people have contingency plans. It's really dangerous what's going on right now. And we need to start thinking outside the box. We can't be so simple, Democrat versus Republican. It's good versus evil. And it's global, and it's on a global scale. It's, do you believe in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, or are you with the guy who creates chaos and confusion, the devil? That's what we're up against right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Yes. Because they care about worldly powers. They don't care about the afterlife. They don't care about their spirit. They don't care about their soul. They'll sell their soul. Look at the way that those people, you listen to the Diddy trial and it's like, oh, I got a pocketbook. He was paying my rent for $10,000 a month. I didn't want to miss out on that. Like, people will sell their soul for a freaking hot dog, I swear. Some of these people are just so sick. And they're evil people who take advantage of it. We are up against principles and principalities. This is a spiritual war that we are going up against right now. And that's why we need to be nervous about what's going on in the Middle East right now. It's serious. We need to be concerned about what's going on in Europe. It's serious. We need to be concerned about what's going on in this country. It's serious. And it's all good versus evil.
Yeah,
it's right versus wrong.
It is right versus wrong. You are right. You are right about that. I'm not arguing about that. I just think that this isn't so much
It's a complete globalist operation.
I don't think it is. I don't think
Why
it's a
do you
globalist
think
operation.
that guy from Ukraine insists on staying in war with Russia because he needs to join that globalist war?
I think the Ukraine and Russia fight is a globalist thing. You're 100% right. I'm not disagreeing with that. But I think this whole immigration thing is because it comes down to the Democrats having the ability to keep power.
Borders. Carlos, why are the same problems happening in Great Britain? Why are the same problems happening in Germany? Why are the same problems happening in Ireland? That you look and it's on independent media, they're not going to show it on the evening news, that you see the people in Great Britain are so frustrated because they don't even have their culture anymore. They sent a bunch of Muslims up in Great Britain, right? You go to Ireland, they're having the same exact problem that's going on in LA. They sent a bunch of Africans to Ireland. You go to Sweden, they're having the same problem in Sweden, where they're losing their own culture, and they have this open border policy, and they sent a bunch of Africans up there.
To Sweden, the kingdom?
Yes, to Sweden. I think we even played a video a couple of months ago. So why is this happening all over the world, that everybody has the same exact problem with a bunch of people who don't respect their culture in their countries?
Yeah.
Think about it. Because they don't follow Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. That's why.
That's why? Because they don't follow Jesus Christ,
they're
our
not
Lord and Savior?
Catholics. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it
Look, I don't know who this person is, Michelle, but she agrees with me.
That's my coworker.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's my coworker, Michelle. Shout out, Michelle, holding in the chat. Love it. Appreciate you being here. Best. But yeah, I mean,
we are facing some serious principles and principalities. It's time to get on your knees. It's time to pray. I had the book, Prayers for America. We need to bump it up to Prayers for the World.
May need to get it back out. I think you got to start putting it back out with your cross, Prayers for America.
Well, I think maybe I will. But I have to tell you, Carlos, Donald Trump took a bullet for this country.
He did.
And he loves this country. He loves this country. They hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump loves this country. Do you hear the difference? Jesus is about love. They're about hate.
They're about hate.
They hate Donald Trump. They hate this country. They are chaos and confusion. They destroy police cars. They burn down cities.
Yeah.
That is the devil's tool. And Donald Trump loves this country. He wants to have a parade. He wants people to feel proud to be an American again. He wants to revive the American spirit, and they want to take a dump all over it.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. And the only thing that's going to help us is prayers. We need to pray for the world.
Yeah.
The world. I used to say Prayers for America. It's actually bumped up to the world.
Bumped up for the world. Some might say that's a little globalist of you.
Because the globalists are trying to destroy the world.
Some might say that's a little globalist of you
they're
right
all
there.
facing the
Praise
same
for the
exact
world.
problems. It's the same playbook being played all over the world.
Yeah, it is.
That guy, Keir Starmer, is another liar. He's no better than a Gavin Newsom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then you have the one who's married to the husband. What is it? The French guy, the Macron, right?
Macron, yeah.
Macron has a husband.
Yeah, I overheard that story. That story's growing big. We were first reported to talk about it on the show. Shout out, Make the Right Play. But they were talking about it. I was working at the restaurant, and people were talking about it at different tables, talking about Macron marrying his teacher.
His teacher, who was a man.
Yeah, who was a man. Penis.
And the thing is that they use that to blackmail these
Pride
people.
Month. Yeah.
They use it to blackmail these people, and it's wrong.
Yeah. No,
it's
it is.
wrong.
It's 100%
we need to get
wrong.
back to family values.
Yeah.
We need to get back to our own tribes where we love each other, we take care of each other.
Right.
And if you don't want to be in the tribe where we love each other and take care of each other, then get the hell out.
Get the hell out, coach.
All right? Then gets to stepping.
You don't
as
belong
they used to say
here.
when I was growing up. Gets to stepping. Time for you to go.
Time for you to go, says the coach.
If you're not going to be part of the solution and you're only going to cause us problems, you need to go.
Right.
And that's the way we need to start saying it out loud and say it proud. Pride Month. Say it loud. Say it proud.
Pride Month, coach.
I am very
Happy
proud
Pride.
to be an American.
Happy Pride.
I'm proud to love my Lord Jesus Christ.
Wow, coach. Right during the month.
Thank you.
I mean, we didn't even get to talk about the transgender battle of Simone Biles, Riley Gaines. We didn't even get to touch on that. Simone taking the knee right there.
Well, you know what's so funny is that your father said, "Oh, did you hear what Simone Biles said?" He goes, "Are you going to take her out of the opening?" I said, "Absolutely not. I love Simone Biles.
I love Simone Biles, American hero."
I was like, I love her. She is an example of American exceptionalism. And in this country, we're allowed to have different opinions.
Yes,
so I don't agree
100%.
with her on that. that doesn't mean I'm going to, say, oh, screw Simone Biles. I want her out of the opening. Yeah. No, I love Simone Biles. So I don't agree with her. I don't agree with her. It's okay to not agree on everything.
You're 100% right.
That's how I felt about it. You're 100%
right. Yeah, it's okay to not agree on everything.
Exactly.
We're all American. And that's the problem. We're all American, but I feel that there's a party that doesn't want to be American. And that's my biggest issue, is that they don't want to be American. They're the same people that says, I don't want to celebrate the 4th of July because I don't like being American. They're the same people. So I don't feel that they want to be American, and that's the problem. That's a major issue. And that's an issue that we have to address as a nation, is bringing back American exceptionalism and American pride. That's why I love Blue Angels. Shout out Blue Angels Week. It's coming up. Can't wait.
I can't wait. Yeah. Well, I would like to say the St. Michael the Archangel prayer.
We're going to pray it out at the end of the show?
Yes.
We got 2 weeks in a row live in studio prayer.
We have to do it every week now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it off here with a nice prayer.
Okay,
here we go.
And because I'm Catholic, I do the sign of the cross in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Say, Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl throughout the world seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Great prayer, Coach. Great prayer. That's what the country needs, guys. We got to get back to praying, right? Get back to the old fundamentals here. Mm-hmm. You got to get back to it. But Coach, another great episode back in studio. Felt good, guys. We are going to continue to try to do more of these pop-up 20-minute, 30-minute shows. Couple emergency episodes as big topics come out. Be sure to keep an eye out on our socials. We have our socials right in the bottom here. I think I'm kind of pointing at it a little down below, right there. You see our socials. X Right Play Pod. Go follow us on X. Go follow us on Instagram, Make the Right Play Podcast. Go follow us on TikTok, Make the Right Play. Even though TikTok kicked us off our live, we're first ever TikTok live today, and we're already banned from TikTok live. You gotta love that. But go follow us on TikTok. Guys, we're on Truth Social. Make sure you guys go follow us on there. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure you're hitting that follow button down below. Hit that like button. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button down below. Make sure you're hitting that like button down below. And across all platforms, make sure you guys are hitting that share button. Send it out. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to the libs that you know. I want to hear what they're thinking. And guys, like we keep saying, get back to the fundamentals, right? Keep praying. Get back to praying. Get back to talking to God. Get back to the fundamentals that built this country, right? We got to go back. We got to get back to it. We got to get back to the good old days. Coach, anything else you wanted to address before we sign off here?
Let's pray. Let's hope that this weekend there's no war in the Middle East, and let's hope that the parade goes out without a hitch, and let's hope that the protesters are stopped. Yeah. And that the American people let them know we've had enough.
We've had enough.
We've had enough.
Yep, you're 100% right. That Ayatollah, you can kiss my ass. America's going to come kick your ass. Here it comes. All right, here we go. Another episode in the books. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Like I said, make sure you guys hit all our socials on the way out, and we'll see you guys. Keep an eye on our accounts because we're going to be going live. We've got a couple pop-up shows here and there, so keep an eye out there. And we'll be back, as always, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here, YouTube, X, Rumble, sometimes Facebook, who knows. But we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Thanks, everybody. Have a great, great weekend. Enjoy the parade. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next time.